Hello, good evening to all of you. Can someone please confirm if I'm audible and also you can see me?
Yes, sir, it is loud and clear.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nabil. Thank you very much. So first of all, thank you very much to all of you for joining me in this session in early evening. So it's a Friday. I completely understand we have plans, right? So in spite of that, you have taken interest in this subject, that is DMPK, and joined us into this session. So I welcome you all. Uh, Before we really jump into this core areas of GMPK, what actually you can expect from this program and all that, I would like to give a brief about what Biocon Academy is and what is the model. So basically, Biocon Academy, for those who are not familiar, Biocon Academy is a CSR arm of Biocon Group. When I say CSR, it's a corporate social responsibility arm of Biocon Group. So our idea of existence is to create a very strong platform for the students to get trained and become employable. That's the crux of why we are here. So when we say we make students employable, we have a very strong model through which this happens. As you can see here, it's a very collaborative model. In this collaborative model, we are collaborating with education institutions as the education partners who are the experts in those areas, and they are providing the theory sessions in the morning. So in the morning, we are having sessions from Graduate Institute or from BITS Pilani or from MS Ramaya or from JSS Mysore or from IBAB in Bangalore. So these sessions are the conceptual sessions, pretty much based on the applications of the science. So that is the first thing happens in the morning for any program. I'll tell you in the next slide what are the programs we are running and where DMPK fits in the overall scenario. So the model is morning we have a theory session. In this theory session, 3 hours theory session, which is conducted by any of the education partners, as you can see in the first pillar. The second pillar is the very, very important and the most differentiating one, because any organization who has the resource can provide theory sessions. There are so many people in the market who can provide theory sessions on DMPK. It's very easy because what all you need is the set of subject matter experts who can provide relevant material and relevant information. Absolutely, it is possible. What is very different at Biocon Academy is that the functional visit. At Biocon Academy, every program, we are sending the students, we are sending the participants of each program to the technical departments of Biocon, Biocon Biologics, or Syngene for the experiential learning. When I say experiential learning, wherever possible, we are giving hands-on training. Wherever be possible, we are giving employee shadowing. When I say employee shadowing, a live product is in action, whether it is getting researched, whether it is getting characterized, sometimes it is getting manufactured, sometimes it is getting quality controlled. So when these things are happening, imagine you be a spectator. You be a spectator and see what actually happens, which means this is the place where three things are coming together. One, the knowledge what you have gained from your educational background, whether you are a MSc Biotechnology, MSc Microbiology, B Pharm, M Pharm, or whatever the degree you're coming with, that knowledge and what you're gaining as a knowledge from the morning theory session and the exact experiment that is going in front of you. Three things coming together. This is where the connection between the theory and practice happens. This is absolutely not happening in any of the online programs, what you may find in most of the technical programs. The other one you will not find much in any of the overall training programs offered by many of the industries or many of the organizations is that the hands-on training. We provide hands-on training at Biosyn, Thermo Fisher, JSS AHER, Merck and Syngene CAPS facility, that is Center for Advanced Protein Sciences department, based on the program. This is completely a different one when it compared to any other online program. Professional skills training. We clearly understand that it is not only the technical knowledge that is important, but also how effectively you can articulate your mind, articulate your thoughts to words. That is also very important, because that is what it is going to gain you a job when it is interview situation. There are cases where you might have seen, or you might have heard, or you yourself might have experienced that you have good knowledge, your friend has a good knowledge, but they are not able to articulate it during the interview. Because of that, they are not getting jobs yet. This we have recognized, and we are putting together professional skills training, which is a campus to corporate training program. We have an in-house trainer who is a brilliant trainer. You might have heard her speaking, Susan Sneha Alexander. Maybe yesterday she spoke about the time management. She is the one who is the trainer at Biocon Academy for professional skills training. In addition to all this, we also recognize that in today's generation, it is really a good idea to introduce immersive learning from digital learning platform, because most of us are now becoming digital learners, either non-immersive or immersive modes. So we are providing augmented reality, virtual reality facility here at Biocon Academy, and there are technical modules available for you to go through and understand directly in an immersive platform. That is the model we are following for all the programs. When I say all the programs, these are the programs I'm talking about. Whether it could be a bioscience program in collaboration with K Graduate Institute, or it could be a industrial microbiology program in collaboration with BITS Pilani, or it is a faculty development program run by Biocon Academy, or it could be quality control analytical program run by or in association with Ramaya Institution. It could be a regulatory affairs program with JSS AHER, or sterile manufacturing program again with Ramaya, or it could be drug metabolism and pharmacokinetics, where we are going to spend time today. This session is specifically to spend time about the program. Give me 1 minute. Let me take a pointer here so that I do that. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to spend time in this program today. So it could be this program, or it could be a program on life sciences, artificial intelligence in life science. In all these areas, the model remains the same. So having said what Biocon Academy is doing and what are the programs we are offering, without much spending time in other things, directly we'll jump into why drug metabolism on pharmacokinetics. Why it is a big opportunity in front of us. I'm sure we wouldn't have forgotten the COVID situation or the situations before COVID. It could be plague or it could be influenza, H1N1. In all these cases, if you remember, we came up with the drugs. When I say we all put together as an industry. We came up with a solution relatively very fast. These fast ones are completely different ones. For example, these are all coming under the category called as emergency approvals. So there is an emergency approval pathway through which we came out with the medicinal solutions. Otherwise, generally, an average timeline for a drug to be developed is approximately 10 to 12 years. Sometimes it goes all the way up to 15 years. That is starting from the discovery, development. When I say development, we are talking about the clinical development. That is clinical trial, preclinical trial, clinical trial, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, all put together, it takes about 10 years to 15 years. Why this much amount of study, why this much amount of time is spent is because we don't want the drug candidate to fail in the clinical trial because of its poor ADME profile. In the next slide, I will talk a little more about ADME properties. But the crux is there are a lot of molecules which are extremely efficient, which are extremely safe. They are efficient and safe, and it has to have an excellent ADME profile. then only it will be a successful drug candidate. Otherwise, it has a good potency, it has a good safety profile. If the ADME profile is not fitting, if it is not establishing, if the PKPD is not establishing, then it is tough, not much of use. Now, you may be wondering how much money these companies are spending. This money is directly translated to the opportunity you and me have in the DMPK space. I have the opportunity to learn and speak about it. You, as a listener, you have an opportunity to work in this space. I'll come to the qualifications in a bit, but at the same time, I want to give a perspective that this opportunity is a shared opportunity between the industry and the academic fraternity. When I say academic fraternity, the students. Because it is a huge opportunity. It is a $1.2 billion opportunity per drug. I'm not talking about the industry. Per drug, they spend about $1.2 billion in each of the drug. I'm just taking a very small estimate here. It could be more also. Okay. That is the reason why the demand for DMPK scientists is globally increasing. The reason why it is increasing is because earlier there was a time where it used to be a supporting role. For instance, I'll give you an analogy if you would like. HR is used to be a supporting function, right? For example, if there is an organization, if the organization want people, they will have a HR department. This HR department is used to be a supporting role by supporting the organization to fetch the right set of talents from the market, train them and put them into the job. When you put them into the job, they will stay there for 3 years, 5 years, then go, then this set will move away. Then you get another set of people to replace them. This is the HR function. We never imagined that the HR can be a business model. Then came the consultancy services. The consultancy services just replicated the entire HR as an independent model and has created a huge opportunity. Now, if you think for yourself, if you want to find a job, you have two options. Either you can apply by yourself or you can go through a consultant. The consultancy has become such a huge opportunity. Like this, DMPK is no more a simple support role within the R&D department of drug manufacturing or drug development center. It has become an independent function. It has become a function for contract research organizations, contract clinical organizations, and clinical research organizations, and so on. So it has become a completely a huge domain by itself. This we have to recognize now. If you recognize it now, then you will understand that you have a role to play. That is very important. You have an absolute role to play, irrespective whether you are a pharmacy student or a life science student. Because what is that we are going to focus in this entire DMPK? In addition to all that, main focus is going to be on how the drug is absorbed, distributed, metabolized, and excreted. This determines whether the drug is a successful drug or it is not a so successful drug. Yes. Now, this certificate program, a broad overview if you want to know what actually we are doing for this or doing with this JSS AHER certificate program in DMPK by Biocon Academy is that this program is a 4 months program. When I say 4 months, 16 weeks of teaching and training. When I say teaching and training, which includes 15 weeks of morning teaching and afternoon internship. Internship means you are going into the facility of Syngene, into the DMPK facility and watch the scientist doing it. Or sometimes wherever opportunity exists, we will allow you to do it also. And then complete 1 week of hands-on training at JSS AHER. That is the course composition for 4 months. Who are all eligible? MSc Chemistry, MSc Biochemistry, MSc Biotechnology, MPharm. Now it is very logical for you to think why. Why only these people are eligible? Because we are talking about the DMPK profile of small molecule and large molecules. Small molecules are chemically synthesized drugs. Large molecules are biologically derived drugs. The difference between a paracetamol and a insulin, or a diclofenac sodium and a monoclonal antibody. That is the difference between a small molecule and a large molecule. That is the reason why we need MSc chemistry also, biochemistry also, the people who understand all these things together, that is biotechnology also, and MPharm also. MPharm, I don't have to explain why MPharm students has to look into DMPK as their career progression or career option. It is an obvious career option for them. In addition to multiple options they have, this is one of the interesting option they have. The course fee is 50,000 rupees plus GST. I'm sure by now you will able to understand what is the value you are deriving out of this 50,000. 50,000 is not a huge amount when compared to what you are getting. Even if you want to consider this 50,000 as a commercial point, commercial standpoint, if you are, for example, let's say you are getting into a job which is going to fetch 3 lakhs year, we are only talking about 1 quarter, which means only 3 months is the period in which you will recover 50,000. If you are a serious job seeker, if you are a serious job finder, if you are seriously looking at a job, now this max will help you to quickly understand why really you should invest 50,000 in a skill development program, which is having a logical progression towards getting a job opportunity. As I already told you, weekly visits to the laboratory, that is Tuesdays to Thursday, to the Syngene Discovery Biology labs, and 1 week of dedicated and practical training at JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore. Why JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore? I don't know if you all of you know about. There's no need to introduce JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysore to any one of you in India, but I will take a opportunity to do that. JSS was one of the premier pharmacy institutions in India. Several institutions in India, several pharmacy colleges in India runs several programs. If you actually go to the teachers, the faculty who are teaching in these several institutions, you will see a very unique pattern that most of them are alumni of JSS College of Pharmacy. That is the type of institutions we are going to work with. I'm not only talking about legacy, they are following the legacy, they are continuing the legacy of excellence. This excellence is not only coming from the knowledge what they possess, but also the facility that supports the knowledge that they possess, that they are able to transform to the students, translate to the students. That is the institution we are talking about for a hands-on training. In addition to, they are the education partner also. As I already told you, communication plays a very, very important role in cracking the interview. Not only cracking the interview, as you might have already guessed, as a fresher, when you get into a job, it is very important that you communicate well. When I say communicate well, both oral communication, written communication, and non-verbal communication, which is going to talk a lot. This you will get to know at Biocon Academy. You'll get trained at Biocon Academy. How to work in teams, how to prepare for your interviews. These are some examples of topics I have given. There are 8 different topics we are talking about. That's the soft skills training we are going to provide to all the people who are enrolling into DMPK program. What is the outcome? Is it just a certificate? Am I going to get a A4 size certificate which I can frame? Probably, I think Nabil will frame it and give it to you. But am I going to get this certificate and put it on the wall? Is that the purpose? Every time when you see this certificate, I want you to go back to your memory and saying, this is the certificate which gained me the first job. That is the memory I would like to create for you. First job has to come from a certificate program. You believed in upskilling yourself. You believed in preparing yourself for the job. That is where the continuity, that is where the sustainability in job will happen. That is where the fastness of growth will happen in the job. Imagine you have a professional training in DMPK and joining DMPK department, and your friend is also joining in DMPK department without professional training. You can imagine who is going to grow fast. Your friend will also grow, no doubts about it, but you cannot match the pace number one. Number two, you continue to have the learning ability. You will not stop learning. If you are a Biocon Academy alumni, you will not stop learning. You will continue to learn. You will continue to upskill and move in the career forward. I'll spend only a few minutes with the technicalities in understanding the DMPK program from ADME framework. We have been saying this as the core of DMPK because we are talking about PK here, that is pharmacokinetics. When I say pharmacokinetics, we are talking about what body does to the drug. What happens to the drug in your body? What happens to the drug in your body is the drug is getting absorbed. Now, imagine you are taking a pill, you are taking a tablet, you are swallowing the tablet. Where is the absorption starts? If you start thinking that the absorption is going to start in the gut, probably you have to enroll into this program because the journey starts much earlier. Okay, the absorption starts right in the buccal cavity. In the buccal cavity itself, the absorption starts. Your saliva is going to start the work. The buccal cavity, after the buccal cavity, the esophagus. After esophagus, it goes to the gut. So this entire portion is responsible for absorption. When I say absorption, this gives the bioavailability of the drug to the body. If the drug is not soluble in certain pH, in acidic pH, neutral pH, or in the alkaline pH, based on which you will do the formulation of the drug, it cannot be absorbed. So solubility factor is one of the very important thing in the absorption. Distribution. Where does this drug go? How this drug goes to the point of action? I have a tennis elbow. I have a pain in the elbow. I am taking a diclofenac sodium orally. When I'm taking a diclofenac sodium orally, how this diclofenac sodium finds its place where there is a need to clear off my pain? This is very important. We need to understand how actually it is getting distributed to the point of action. What is plasma protein binding? How the chemical molecules bind to the plasma protein? How the tissue uptake take place? How the drug crosses from one tissue to another tissue? If it is something to do with your brain, how it is going to cross the blood-brain barrier? How it penetrates? How the drug penetrates the blood-brain barrier? Are you not really, as a science student, are we not really interested in finding out how the drug actually get into the brain? It's a amazing thing, right? So this is the opportunity. Metabolism. Needless to say, unless the drug is metabolized, it cannot go to the site of action. It cannot be excreted properly. It cannot be converted to a byproduct and excreted properly. So these are reasons why we need to understand how a drug is metabolized in the cytoplasm. Okay, excretion, how it is eliminated. As all of you can understand, most of it is eliminated through the urine. Most of the drugs are eliminated through urine, right? That is the reason why most of the times, if you go to a physician and say that I have a pain, they generally say avoid painkiller. Manage it with physiotherapy, calm it down, don't strain yourself, don't stretch yourself for some time. If the pain is not subsiding, then take a painkiller. Even if it is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, they avoid, they procrastinate. They don't immediately tell you take a painkiller. Why? Because these painkillers are going to be excreted through the urine, which is a renal system, which is having a potential possibility or potential risk of causing a end-stage renal disorder, ESRD. Why ESRD? The ESRD is because there is a abuse of painkiller. Too much of painkillers you have taken. Now, unless you understand how the excretion works, all of us would have studied about excretion in our school and in our college if you're a biology student. But what we might not have studied is how the drug is excreted as a byproduct, as a waste through the urine in the renal system. What is the impact of the drug on the renal system? That needs to be completely understood. For you to understand this, what we have done is we have put up a 13 module curriculum, spans across 4 months. If you ask me, isn't it very aggressive? Yes, the answer is yes. It is very aggressive. 13 modules across 4 months is a very aggressive target. But what we believe in your capability. We absolutely believe in your capability that if you are a MSc in chemistry, MSc in biochemistry, M.Pharm student, MSc biotechnology student, you will able to absorb, you will able to understand this content because this content is going to be delivered by experts. These are the experts who can give relevant examples and make you understand in a simpler way. It all starts with introduction to drug discovery because DMPK is a part of drug discovery. This is the reason why initially I told you, you will get a job opportunity in the drug discovery area. The DMPK, as it is a part of drug discovery in the drug manufacturing companies or CROs, you will get an opportunity to work in a drug discovery department or a group. Okay. Documentation and safety practices. This is where the industry way of thinking starts. There is a difference between the research that is happening in a research institution or academic institution without demeaning any of it. The research happens in the industry in slightly different way. Whatever you are doing is a result of what is being written. And whatever is the outcome of what you are doing has to be written as a document, which means it starts with the document, ends with the document. That is the best practice. That is how you build safety to the product. When you are documenting, you get to know statistically, is it safe enough? You see in front of your eyes with the document, with the numbers, statistical numbers to prove whether it is safe or unsafe. Then you come to your conclusion. From here, if you see, there is a clear difference between how you are moving from in silico to in vitro, from in vitro to in vivo. Up to here, whatever we are talking about is in silico work, computer work. Now, in vitro stability and enzyme kinetic studies. In lab, what are the assays you are going to run? How are you going to design your experiment and run your experiment? In industry, we are conscious of two things. One is safety, other one is cost. So you should be cost conscious. At the same time, you have to run the assays safely. When I say safely, safe to the assay, safe to you in both perspectives. This is a very important thing we need to understand much early in your career. I really wish that you go through this program because you get this acumen early in the career. Plasma and microsmol protein binding, again, the in vitro studies, permeability and transporter assays, in vitro studies. Now, how are you going to move it to the system, in vivo studies? How are you going to inject an animal? How are you going to administer the drug to the animal? What is the study design? When I say study design, if I have 50 mice, how am I going to divide it? How many are controls? How many are placebo? How many are test group? Then only you will have a statistical value from each of it. So very important, in vivo studies has to be followed after a careful experiment design in silico. Then you come to the in vivo studies. Actually, you are doing the dosage administration studies, dose route selection studies or sampling techniques. How are you actually administering? What is the route of administration? Are you going to give it orally? Are you going to inject as a parenteral? What is it? How are you going to take samples? Are the samples representative enough? What is the sampling strategy? All these needs to be understood in this module. Analytical methods. Now the sample is taken. Now, what are the things you are going to analyze in that sample? Are you going to analyze for the assay of the product? Are you going to analyze the metabolic byproduct of the product, of your test molecule? What are the things you are going to analyze? That's the bioanalytical method and validation. Are you going to analyze using the validated analytical method? How are you going to validate those methods? How are you going to develop and validate those methods? Very interesting. PK parameters for non-compartmental assays analysis. Again, Bioavailability and bioequivalence. BABE studies forms the crux of the success of the program. Tissue distribution and imaging. I'm not getting into details of everything. I'm just giving you a flavor of what you can expect from this program. Clearance mechanisms, as I told you, how the renal system clears off the entire byproduct. And finally, we cannot literally work without AI and data analytics using a PK software tools, without which it is incomplete. So you'll get simulation software demos, you'll get data analytical software demos for PK using PK software tools. This is what you will expect. This is what you can expect from this program. What are the things you can expect from the visits? The last slide spoke about what are the things you can expect from the JSS faculty. What is that they are going to deliver as a theory? What is the concept they are going to create? Now, if you carefully see, it is absolutely aligned to the afternoon visits you are going to make to Syngene. Good documentation practice, thermodynamic and kinetic stability, solubility studies. If you remember, this is the same thing we spoke about in the earlier one. I don't want to read out the entire thing, but what I leave thought for you is that there is a complete alignment between what happens in the morning in the theory and what happens in the afternoon, what you're going to see it as a practice or you're going to participate practicing it. There is a full alignment. This is how we believe the learning should be inculcated. It's a lifelong memory you will create. In addition to this, we are giving a 1 week lab training at a JSS Mysore. This is extremely important because this is where you dirty your hands and learn, make mistakes and learn. This is the only opportunity where you will be able to make mistakes and learn. You may use HPLC, you may use GC, you may use GCMS. You may not even understand where actually the sample is getting injected. You try to completely start from the scratch. Even if you have not seen a HPLC system, you have not seen a GCMS system, absolutely no problem. Start from the basics. In this 1 week, I would like you to get exposed to it. When you are joining a job, you are not joining as an expert. You are joining as a job-ready resource, which means that the amount of training an organization has to put on you is minimum. That is what we are aiming at as a fresher. We are only trying to maximize your employability. How? Three things. One, the theory classes. Number two, the technical ones, that is the Syngene lab visits and the lab training. And third, very important, soft skills training. As I already told you, in addition to communications, in addition to interview preparations, as you can see here, we are going to focus on research ethics and workplace etiquettes. Because working in a R&D department is extremely different from working in a manufacturing department. That is different from working in a quality control department. Each department, each function has its own rationale, its own philosophy of working. So we need to understand how ethically we need to work in a research environment. What is the best practice? What is the best work practice? That you will get to know. I don't have to explain you what is the importance of critical thinking and problem solving in a research situation, right? So that is covered as a part of the training. How are we arranging this journey? We are arranging this journey in 4 ways. Month one is the foundations. We have to create strong foundations because we realize that it is a heterogeneous combination. We have M Forms also, MSc MSc Biotechnology also, MSc Chemistry also, MSc Biochemistry also. Because it is a heterogeneous function, creating a strong foundation is very important. That is what we are going to do in month one. Month two, core DMPK area. We are going to focus completely on the core DMPK areas as the suggested topics are. Next, we are going to get into analytics and PK. Analytics and PK forms the natural outcome of monitoring how DMPK is successful. And fourth is the job readiness, mastery. Job readiness in terms of technical as well as professional side. That is how the 4 months are arranged. After completing this program, what can you expect? By completing this program, what is in it for you and me in it? If I were in your shoes, the first slide is this. I won't be interested in much of the other slides. I'll be interested in this slide because I have a potential reason to become a DMPK scientist in a CRO or a pharma R&D, or I'm a bioanalytical scientist in a contract clinical development and manufacturing organizations, or any biotech labs. Clinical pharmacokinetist, very important role, powerful role in a clinical research organization. These are direct. We'll come to slightly indirect ways of applications of DMPK in regulatory affairs. As you can imagine, when I'm filing a product, if this filing goes without the non-clinical and clinical data for the molecule, will any agency even look at my file? If you are a regulatory agency person, if you are a regulator, you are a drug inspector, if I'm filing a product to you, I'm sending a file to you without the clinical outcome and the non-clinical studies about the product, is of no use. So DMPK person, a person trained in DMPK, completely understand what are the things to be mentioned in the regulatory filing for regulatory affairs through this DMPK program for a successful filing. Computational and picomodulars. As you can imagine, this forms the basics. DMPK course forms the basics for tomorrow when you are getting into AI-driven discovery, drug discovery. All of us know that we are moving towards using AI effectively for many different areas, which also includes drug discovery. When the wave comes, when a big wave comes, AI wave comes, you should be prepared. So this program prepares you for you to be on the top of the wave, right? So that is where the computational and PK modeling comes in. PK and PD data analytics, as all of you know that it is a known couple, the data analysis and AI. So data analytics forms a very important part because we are moving from a structure-based discovery to a evidence-based discovery. How strong your evidence is to prove that your product is effective and safe. I'm just giving some examples of people who are into this space, starting from Syngene, Biocon, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Cipla, Davis Labs, Jubilant, Sai Life Sciences, and global CROs, other global CROs, PPTs, and so on. I'm just giving some examples here. If you are really serious about making your journey in the drug discovery area, if you want to be a drug discovery scientist, here is your opportunity. Who are the people who are who can apply? Who can apply? Because we are keep on saying apply through bioconacademy.com. Biocon Academy page has the entire details what we are talking about. The curriculum, the duration, the fees, everything is available in the website. The interesting thing that is also available in the website is the apply now button. If you click the apply now button, it will directly take you to the online application free of cost. So you can directly apply. MSc Chemistry or MSc Biochemistry, MSc Biotechnology, MPharm in any specialization. Is my education qualification alone will allow me to apply? Will my education qualification alone will take me to this program? May or may not be. Because you are going to go through a HR interview and a technical interview before you are admitted into this program. Therefore, you should be passionate about joining a drug discovery program. You should be curious about how the drug works in our body. Isn't it a very basic curiosity any biology student will have? I don't know if you remember during the COVID period, people used to ask you what will happen next in COVID. Because you are a biology student, you expected to know everything about it, right? So you are absolutely seeking industry-ready skills beyond your academics. Beyond your academics, you want to stretch yourself to get into the industry readiness, because it is always a good idea to prepare yourself for the industry and join industry, not the other way around. Are you aspiring to work in pharma R&D, contract research organization, clinical research organization, or biotech companies, here is your place. You can go ahead and apply. Okay. I don't want to again reiterate on the entire thing, but the crux of what you are seeing in your right-hand side is the outcome. This is exactly what you will get, which you will not get otherwise in the other programs which are available in the market, which is fully online programs. Okay, so look into it, think about it. So to summarize, the batch is starting on 30th March 2026. We are going to take only 20 students across India for the first batch. We are not looking at huge numbers. It is a specialized program. We are looking at only 20 selected students, screened and selected students. And if you may want to know what we have done already is 30 to 40% of the seat has been filled in. 30 to 40% of the seat has already been filled in before even we are doing this type of seminars and webinars and so on in popularizing this program. The idea of popularizing this program is to get good quality students. I'm sure you are one among them. 4 months program, 50,000 plus GST fees. The format is the weekday classes, not weekend, weekday classes plus laboratory experience. Why you should think about this program is because it is a maximization of Syngene International's expertise multiplied by JSS AHER expertise. I'm sorry, I'm missing JSS there. JSS AHER expertise into Biocon Academy's track record of placing 100% of their students. This is the reason why you should look into. I hope we had a meaningful session.